Hey everyone, I'm Work, and welcome to Give It a Shot. In this episode, we'll be checking out one of my favorite RPGs in a long time, Crystal Project. Let's dive right in. And one of the first big things that really hit me when I was playing Crystal Project for the first time was its world design. And you'd be forgiven if you saw this game and thought it was a Minecraft RPG. And aesthetically, you wouldn't be wrong either. But the world of Crystal Project is so lovingly crafted that I was continually awestruck by the insane attention to detail and thought put into practically every single block that you see in the game. And that's made even more crazy because the world of Crystal Project is huge. It's got multiple large continents brimming with sleepy forests, deep dark dungeons, and almost 2D mountain climbing sections. It's got vast underground areas as well as massive oceans to explore. For me, the world design speaks wonders for the love and care that was put into Crystal Project as a whole, and the level design of Crystal Project really inspires wonder from the player as you learn the language of traversal that the game slowly teaches you. Combine this world design with the wonderful music that fills Crystal Project, and you instantly have a memorable and beautiful exploration experience. There's nothing quite like descending into a dungeon on one continent and then emerging hours later to find yourself on another one entirely. And as a non-linear open world RPG, exploration is a thing you're going to be excited to do more of, as there's just so much to see and do. And there's always a reason to go off the beaten path, either for some treasure or a new job crystal or even entire secret areas. In Crystal Project, exploration works like it would in a Metroidvania game, with traversal starting off simply but evolving as you get access to new items like mounts and warping stones, and by doing quests and beating bosses. Also, aiding in the rewarding feeling of exploration in Crystal Project is its excellent mapping system. In Crystal Project, you don't start off with a map of the area that you're in, but the player can either find, purchase, or receive maps from various locations throughout the world, and these maps feel really satisfying to use. So much so that there are times when you will want to go out of your way just to fill in small areas of your map you haven't ever touched before, just to do it. Like, just the act of filling out the map is a satisfying and rewarding gameplay loop. Next up, let's talk about combat, because combat in Crystal Project is just as satisfying as the exploration. And Crystal Project has some of the best strategic RPG combat I've played in years. Combat is played out on a timeline and gives players a ton of invaluable information, from when their opponent will attack next to even what they are going to do, allowing players to really contemplate every single decision they're making, and it really adds a super satisfying level of strategy to the fights, especially some of the endgame optional bosses, which all require their own strategies and team comps to take down. The fights in Crystal Project are deep and turn-based and can be very challenging on the harder difficulties, but it's this depth and challenge that really makes Crystal Project so satisfying. And you aren't really able to AFK steamroll new content as you find it either. The game really makes you think and try new strategies throughout your journey, and figuring out team comps for the specific fights can be quite a bit of fun. And Crystal Project gives players a lot of freedom in deciding how they want to structure their adventuring party too. Do you want to have a team of melee bruisers who specialize in healing magic, or a team of mages that attack with deadly bow abilities? How about mimics and scholars that specialize in using attacks based off of the enemies that you are fighting? Yeah, you can do all of that and more. Crystal Project allows for myriad viable strategies, and all of them are complex and rewarding in their own ways. But despite its depth, Crystal Project always gives the player the ability to respect their characters, and the game is generous with opportunities to do so. So speaking of characters, let's talk about them. Crystal Project is a class-based RPG. Think Final Fantasy's job system. And along with these classes, the game also features deep character stats that function almost like EVs from Pokemon. These stats accumulate based on what class your characters are each time they level up. So leveling up 20 times as a warrior, for instance, is going to give you a lot more hit points and strength than leveling up 20 times as a warlock. As for your characters, the characters in Crystal Project are all created by the player at the start, and there are only a few classes to pick from. But this list of classes will grow substantially as the player progresses through the game. These classes all feature their own unique sprites and animations, and all have a really awesome retro art style. And as an RPG, you're going to be getting plenty of loot too. And Crystal Project features tons of equipable items and several item slots for each character, meaning there's no shortage of new and interesting things to try out. Finally, as an RPG, Crystal Project is quite a bit lighter on story than some of its contemporaries, instead opting to tell a lot of its story through its world design as opposed to a giant sprawling narrative. But this type of storytelling does just enough to push you to new areas and find new things to explore. All in all, Crystal Project is a fantastic and deep RPG with some really charming artwork, some amazing music, and a ton to see and do. So if you like these types of RPGs, please do yourselves a favor and give it a shot. Have you played Crystal Project? Do you like these types of old school RPGs? And what game should I give a shot to next? Let me know down in the comments. And if you like this video, please give it a like for the algorithm. And if you like me, you can catch me live every weeknight over on twitch.tv/workingcackenter. Anyway, hope to see y'all there. Later.